Welcome back to MLB Now. Brian Kenny back here with you. Here are the offseason transactions for the Minnesota Twins. They only won 78 games last year, a bit of a disappointment. That was coming off back-to-back division titles. In 2019, they won the division title. If you look on the left-hand side, see the guy that was, it's like we have it highlighted in yellow, re-signed, Carlos Correa. That alone just fascinates me. Derek Falvey, Twins president of baseball operations, good enough to join us here today. Derek, it's Brian Kenny. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me on.
Derek, how did you track the Carlos Correa situation, where the big offer to the Giants, then that falls through, the bad MRI, the big offer from the Mets, and then you're waiting there? Like, how closely were you following that, or were you kind of giving up on the possibility of Carlos?
You know, Carlos, as we know, this was a journey through the course of the offseason. No other way to put it. But ultimately, we felt like Carlos always wanted to be a Minnesota Twin. It was a big part of last season, our team, and what we were trying to accomplish. He made a huge impression on everybody here. He made an impact on the players. He made an impact on the staff and certainly our fans. And we were able to stay connected. It always felt to me like his heart was in Minnesota. And ultimately, while it didn't work out at the outset, a conversation he and I had that night, I could tell there was still some pull back to here. It's about building relationships, staying connected. And ultimately, it brought us all back together at the end of it all.
Yeah, look, they were going 12, 13 years for $300 million. You had to figure you're getting blown out of the water at that point, right?
Well, there was definitely a reality that we thought 29 other clubs beyond the Minnesota Twins would want Carlos Correa. He's a tremendous player, game-changing talent, great leader, everything I just said. So we knew that was going to be the case, and we knew the market could get away from us some. But ultimately, with the way the journey ended, it found a way to come back here on a different structure and a different deal. And I can tell you that Carlos is thrilled to be here, and we're really excited to have him back.
Look, I think it's the move of the offseason. He's a tremendous player. He's young. He plays shortstop for all the right reasons. For some reason, though, right, the Giants and the Mets medical staff had concerns, and they passed. How did you get past that?
Well, it's definitely a difficult conversation to navigate when you know there's so much public reality of the medical situation. Certainly the context, you just said this, 12, 13-year deals ultimately didn't come together. But for us, the structure of our deal, the deal at 6 years that we hope will grow into a 10-year deal with him, was a different structure, and we had to find that overlap. That's about trust. That's about building relationships with the agent, with the player, and trying to figure out what the right intersection was. And when it came to that range, we felt like we finally had a chance to make that happen with us.
Yeah, no, kudos to you for hanging in there and being there when it fell through. And I think you had the signing of the offseason. Tremendous player. Pablo Lopez, that deal. To get that, yeah, Luis Arraez went the other way. Tell me, like, how do you go about targeting a good young pitcher who pitched great for you to open up?
Well, Pablo's always been on our radar. He's a guy that we'd asked about over a couple of different seasons. Certainly trading Luis Arraez is difficult. He was a batting champ last year. He was a tremendous player for us, great guy in the clubhouse. But to get something like Pablo, to get a starter like we saw on opening day for us, the guy who pitched for Team Venezuela in the WBC so well on that stage, we knew this is a guy that could pitch toward the top end of our rotation. And ultimately, he's been a great teammate, great ad. We knew the makeup was tremendous. This is a guy who's only getting better, and we're really excited about what we'll see out of him in 2023, but even beyond.
Did you work on him with the new pitch, the sweeper, or is that from him?
Yeah, that's something that our staff and our collective group spent some time talking to him about soon after we acquired him. An ability to kind of create a slider that moves a little bit more horizontally and something that can help add to his mix. He's very intelligent. He knows how to pitch. He knows how to think about his mix. He's got an elite changeup. He's got real good fastball command. This was just an opportunity for him to enhance his game. Even at this stage of his career, he's a guy who's still young, still growing, still developing, and still wanting to get better. And that's a credit to him to execute on it.
Derek, you jumped in pretty quickly on Joey Gallo, if I'm not mistaken, in the offseason. Again, off disappointment with the Yankees. And then actually after an early surge, not a great finish even with the Dodgers. What did you see?
We saw with Joey Gallo, this is a guy just a short year ago was one of the best outfielders in the game. Home run power is there, obviously. We know strikeouts are part of his game, but we felt there were some things we could help him with, identified. David Hopkins, our hitting coach, did a really nice job meeting with him this offseason, spending some time making some of those adjustments. We saw them play out in spring training, and then to have yesterday happen where he went and hit a couple home runs, double, mix it in. This is a guy who we know plays elite defense along with power and production. He's still only 29 years old. We felt that Joey was a great fit for our club, and he's already proven to be both defensively and offensively for us.
Derek, I think, from all the buzz in the offseason, there would be an uptick in stolen bases and stolen base attempts. I don't know if we figured it would be like this. Are you and your people discussing anything that should be done to get after it on the base paths and take advantage of these new rules?
Well, we've looked at that. We expected, looking at the minor league stats, some of these changes, some of the rules that we saw adapted. We had some experience with that. Now we're seeing it through spring training and in the early part of the season. For us, you have Byron Buxton there who can run like anybody in the game. We feel Max Kepler, Joey Gallo, guys like this can find the right spots to take an extra base here and there.
But an extra spot, but you're not going to make it hey, let's exploit this now. It seems like, no, we'll just do it where it makes sense.
Well, I think you have to find the right guys on your team and the right focus. You can't, not everybody out there is going to run all day long. So for our offense, we need to find the right balance, and ultimately for the right guys, I'm sure they'll go a little bit more often than they have.
All right, you have 0 so far, right? So they can only go up from here. I'm just wondering, there's more of it than I think that people are digging into right now. There seems to be like a real surge there. But anyway, Derek, we'll let you go. Derek, thanks for joining us. Best of luck, great off season, and we look forward to talking to you again soon.
Thanks for having me on, as always.